you can live in these little worlds that you're creating. So it's a lot more fun than just reliving your past experiences. Instead, you just get to create something new. Abigail, I had a friend of mine, best friend growing up with, and her mom was a writer. And she asked me if I would write a short story for one of her books. And it was about a monster's ball. So I started out and I'm writing this, and then all of a sudden it just morphed into its own book. Because it's like, okay, well, here's this one character. All of a sudden I'm thinking, what about this one? What did this one do? Where did this one come from? And so that's where that one came from. The Soul Keepers, I actually had the strangest nightmare. And I woke up and I thought, I need to write this down. And the nightmare was a lot more gruesome than what I wrote in The Soul Keepers. I'm going to read some of it, but before I read it, I wanted to go through and just put together this glossary of terms, because since it is set back in Viking times, right? They spoke different. So I thought, well, how many times have you read a book and you're looking at this word and you're just thinking, I don't know what this is. And instead of having to go and Google it or find a dictionary, if anybody even owns those anymore, I just thought, you know what, the major ones, I'm going to put them in here so that people can look them up right in the front and they have it. The other thing that I actually added to this is a map so that you could trace it, because some people aren't. I'm a very visual person, so if I see the map, I can follow her. I think it's helpful, right, to have something like that to assist. Do you have any questions for me before I start?
Where can you buy the book?
Oh, Amazon. All the books are available on Amazon. I also have a YouTube page.
Her experience of life.
Ever since I was little, I would write just really strange books that actually got me in trouble in school, because they were like horror novels. And I don't know if that's weird or not, but I would have this little paper booklet that I had where this lady's running and there's blood flying out on the ground, and my mom's looking at me like, are you okay? And I'm just saying, it's just a book, Mom. But then I also grew up watching Halloween, and so that was the thing that we did with Mom. We would just sit around and watch these scary movies. But I feel like I've always liked writing. My dad wrote. It's just something, we have to do so many things in life that it's nice to be able to just find an escape. And it's a safe escape, so I like it for that too.
Congratulations on
Thank you.
doing this. It's a lot of hard work.
And I started working on another one, a murder mystery, trying to figure out like who is the one that's killing all these people. But it's, again, as gruesome as my mind can go, I would never let it go as far as it could go, just because there's enough ugly out there in the world too, I think,
So as a writer, that is something that you can control, and you can, say what you have to say. And the language is so rich, and you can say many things with few words, and it's up to the reader to,
Exactly. It's the main character in this book. She is a girl from Norway. She's torn between wondering, why she has to be in the position that she's in, and wondering if she should even do it or she should just take control of her own life. So there's Runa. Adis is her daughter. And Adis is a fiery little thing. She's one of those people where you look at them and you're like, you're so small, but you're just so grown. You can just see the age in her eyes. Then Hulda and Irni, they are the mothers of Runa. They found her. And then Jayapala is Runa's best friend. She meets him in this market, and it's fate. It's just, he ends up coming with her, and he's just a part of her story. The child could not have been meant to die. not her child, not the one born in the Michigami shelter. Her laughter carrying even into the shadows of the ash tree that loomed nearby. For years, she was Runa's joy, her reason, the proof that love could root itself in a foreign land. But fate does not soften, not even for children. Runa was ashborn, bound to the gods and prophecy, yet she was also a mother. When the time came and death pressed too close, she swore she would not surrender her daughter to the silence. The ash listened. The blood remembered. And a vow was carved that would echo long after both mother and child were gone. Centuries peeled away like birch bark. The ash grew, sickened, grew again. Its roots drank memory. Its branches cast long shadows. The child's name faded from lips, then from story, then from time. Yet still the tree hummed, as if carrying her breath in its veins. Until men came with axes and survey lines, until roads broke the ground and laughter returned where silence had reigned. And the earth remembered. Now she stirs. Small hands twitch. Eyes blink in the dark. The dead do not sleep when they're loved too hard, and the child only wants to play. The ash remembers, the blood will answer. Generations passed, and the tale of the ashborn faded into whispers. Yet fate does not forget what the gods have bound. In another age, in another land, in another world, her story would begin again. Chapter 1, Whispers Beneath the Ash. Now, this is present-day Bangor, Michigan, where I grew up. It's a rural country town, very green. Just put yourself in that situation. The soccer ball rolled farther than the boy intended, bouncing across the uneven ground until it came to rest near the blackened trunk of an ancient ash tree. He sprinted after it, his laughter carrying in the late autumn air, until a hand gripped his sleeve. "Leave it," the other boy said, his voice low. "It's just a ball," the first protested, tugging against the hole. "We can get it before the wind takes it down the hill." The second boy shook his head, eyes fixed on the tree whose roots twisted like black veins through the earth. "Not there. Don't you know the stories? My grandfather says that ground's haunted. Ghosts walk under that tree." The first boy glanced at the trunk, charred yet stubbornly alive, branches bare but unbroken. "It's just old wood." "No," the second insisted. "It's burned, but it didn't die. That ash, it keeps what's buried under it." They say children who step too close are taken, pulled down into the roots of the ash tree, creeping toward the ball, curling around it, tugging it closer to the shadow of the trunk. Elle's mouth curved, not in fear, but in knowing. She brushed her palms against her apron, the faint scent of earth and green clinging to her skin. "Rebecca," she called, her voice carrying like a belt through the open window. A girl of 8 came skipping from the cottage, her braids flying, her face bright with devotion. "Yes, Grandma." Elle placed a small bundle of wildflowers into her hands, stalks bound with twine. "Take these," she said softly, her eyes flicking toward the forest edge. "Go on and show little Adis how a proper game of ball is played." Rebecca nodded solemnly, as if entrusted with a sacred task. She hugged the flowers close to her chest, then skipped down the path, untroubled by the sight of roots inching the ball towards the ash tree's base. From the porch, Elle listened. A high, silvery laugh threaded through the branches, carried back on the wind. Not the laughter of the children in the field, older, younger, something between. She sank back onto the step, the rhythm of snapping beans steady in her fingers. A tune rose in her throat, a lullaby her mother had sung, and hers before her, a melody worn smooth by time. The air hushed to hear it. The roots pressed deeper into the earth, and El hummed on, as though all was as it should be. That night, the boy sat cross-legged by the campfire in the grandfather's yard, the glow painting his weathered face in flickers of orange. On the table lay small figures carved with care, each one bound with fate. Some were men, some were women, some beasts with runes etched into their hides. At the center, he placed two figures more carefully than the rest. A woman whose eyes seemed to burn even in the wood, and beside her, a child whose small frame carried the faintest spark of fire. His one good eye lingered on the woman longer than he should, the ghost of longing crossing the Allfather's weathered face. Runa, Odin murmured, tilting her carved likeness toward him. His voice was not merely naming, but remembering. And Adis. He traced a finger along the child's small figure, almost reluctant. This was the change. For all the games he had played through the ages, all the pieces he had scattered across the world, never before had he introduced the child. This time, Runa would not stand alone. This time, her daughter's flame would burn in the weave. Around them, he arranged other pieces, warriors with shields, servants coiled to strike, a raven with wings spread wide. His hand hovered, deliberate, shaping a trial older than prophecy, a test for more than gods, a test for love itself. Loki did not know of this. Even now, he prowled Asgard, restless, hungry, weaving his tricks through shadow, always searching, though he would never confess it. Searching for love, for affirmation, for someone who might still the howl within him. He would laugh at the thought, scoff at the weakness, yet in secret, he longed for it with the desperation of a starving man. And Runa, Odin knew, was the embodiment of what Loki could never resist. Woman, born of ash and blood, who carried in her every breath the kind of love that even the gods could not command. Loki would crave her, as he had craved belonging since the day he was named Trickster. He would have her or no one else could. That was his nature. That would be his undoing. Odin smiled, one-eyed and weary with centuries, as he placed the final piece on the far edge of the table. A figure shaped like Loki himself, mouth curved in sly defiance. The Allfather leaned back and breathed across the table. The figures trembled as though life stirred in their grain. "This will be your trial, old friend," Odin said softly, though only the ravens heard. "You do not yet know the child exists, but you will. And when you do, your hunger will find its match. Not in power, but in a love you cannot possess." Hugin and Munin shifted on the beam above, their dark eyes gleaming as though they too watched the trap unfold. Below, in the realms of gods and men, Loki wandered unaware, already walking the first lines of Odin's design. The game had begun, and this time it would burn for eternity. In the Ashborn, I have so we have our time, right? Human history, but that's not the same for the gods' time. So when you're reading this, just understand that when you're talking about Odin, this is happening yesterday, today, tomorrow, all the time. It's just this ongoing thing, and so it's interesting to see because Odin is he just keeps playing these same games, and he has something that he wants to come out in the end, and it finally does. But he's tried all these different settings. It's like he's playing chess and he's like, okay, so what if I do this? And what if I move this over here? And then that's when he finally decided, okay, well, now we're going to put Adis in here. Before, she wasn't there. So Hulda and Irni, they are Runa's mothers. And they're her mothers because they're the ones that found her. And they're walking through the forest in Norway and they're collecting pieces of ash tree for a ceremony. They're not expecting what they find, but we'll come to that. Sometimes I wonder if the gods find that making us wait is amusing, Hulda said, a slight lift to the corner of her red lips. Hulda, I think it's best not to taunt them. Kari is being merciful this day. He might strip us bare with but a breath. You're right, Irni. As always, you're right. The world tree was sacred. Its eternal roots touched the 9 realms. And only fallen limbs could be used for these ceremonies. It was as if the gods knew that they were needed to feed the flames, and so they were provided. The cracked and peeling branches thrived and provided protection from the elements to what would become of all things. In the distance, a faint howl drifted to her ears, a cry that resonated within her breast. Listen, it seems Benrare wishes to gain our attention. The forest, usually alive with muted scurryings of hares beneath the undergrowth and the distant caw of ravens, seemed to hold its breath with her. A lone gray wolf stood half-shrouded in the mist between the trees, its fur dusted with white snowflakes. Its yellow eyes glowed like embers against the pale winter light, unblinking, as it studied her from the shadows of the ash grove. One lone wolf was nothing to be concerned about, but a pack on the hunt could be formidable. It could also be a sign. The air felt heavy, each breath sharp into her chest, carrying with it the iron tang of ice and a faint musk that did not belong to the trees. Irni lowered her gaze to the ground. No tracks marred the fresh snow. Not deer, not hare, not even fox. The silence of the earth was unnatural, and that made her skin prickle beneath her woolen cloak. Snowflakes clung to her lashes and melted cold against her cheeks, their icy kiss seeping into the thin seams of her hood. A stray gust swirled powder across her face, stinging her skin with its chill. She pulled her cloak tighter, but the wind found every gap, weaving frost into the folds of her dress and brushing her with the bitter sharpness of winter's touch. The gods spoke in signs both subtle and fierce, and when they did, Irni found it best to listen. The howling transformed into a mewling, not so much a cry for help as a cry to guide those who were sent, so they might know where to find this gift. Hulda did not wait for Irni, and she rushed towards the noises emanating from within the ash tree. As much as they were alike, Hulda held a stronger need to nurture within her breast. Irni watched as Hulda climbed into the cavity created from the large arching roots for what seemed an eternity. She paid no notice to the tearing of her flesh as she forced her way through. All of her focus was placed on retrieving that which was calling out to her. Her entire body burned with the need to reach this destination. This source of what sounds both broke her heart and filled her with an overwhelming joy. The sounds of the forest increased, as if even the smallest creature knew that something spectacular was occurring in their midst. A tangible hum pulsed through every fiber of the space surrounding this immense ash tree. Before Irni could step forth, Hulda began to back out towards her. She was slightly hunched, and it appeared she was using her body to protect whatever it was she had found from the wind and the elements. The sounds of the forest became deafening to reveal Irni, undeniably a newborn babe. In that moment, the forest held its breath, and all fell to silence. The humming ceased. The universe held pause to take in what the earth had so graciously produced. Hidden within the warm, insulating wool was a child. It could not have been more than hours old. The Vernix serosa still clung to its precious skin, its protective barrier forming yet another barrier against the harsh environment which it had been brought into. And yet no evidence of the mother could be found. Irene moved towards Hulda and peered into the babe's deep blue eyes the color of the Norwegian sea, and she fell to her knees weeping. The gods have given us a gift this day, this child born of the forest. Hulda looked on at her sister, not by blood, but by love and devotion. Gather the ash. We must prepare for the plot. The Goya saw this in her dreams. This child is marked by the gods. Irene raised herself from the snowy floor and rushed towards the ash tree to collect all the falling bits that lay scattered within and around the twisted opening Hulda had just emerged from. When her arms were full, they both began to walk back towards the Hof, where they knew the Goya would be waiting. Deep within the hollow of the ancient ash tree, a faint clicking echoed, soft and rhythmic,